In today's video, we're going to plumb up this transmission cooler we mounted last night. It should go pretty simple. I'll get down here and show you where we're going to attach it at now. This will be a quick video, I hope. Okay, so here's the transmission cooler, the factory one in the bottom of the radiator. Here's the factory transmission line that's obviously blown at some point. Somebody's put a piece of tubing in here and two hose clamps, and this is leaking. So we're probably going to replace this. At the very least, we're going to tie in here. So we're going to go ahead and start taking this apart to plumb in our cooler. And try to catch as much of that fluid in this automatic transmission fluid jug as I can. Alright, we're going to let that drip. Then we're going to see how we're going to be able to tie in here. Okay, so what somebody's had done, this factory rubber line must have broke. And they put this piece of metal on between the two halves. Hose clamped it down. Now, I was originally going to take this out right here, the transmission. But that brass fitting, they did a good job of stripping, so I can't get it out. So, this rigged together mess, we're at least going to have to use this left-hand side, or this right-hand side of it. Now, on this side here, I've got this broke loose for the factory hose going to the factory steel line. That's off. Here's what we got there. Now, I have some hose barbs that came out of a transmission cooler kit, but they are male. So, what I have to see now is if I have a union or a double female nipple to join this to that so I can put a proper hose barb on it. So now I'm going to go over here and dig through my scrounge and see what I got. Might have to go to the hardware store. Alright, so I run up to Napa. Got me a 3/8 flare coupling. Thread that sucker on there. Get her snug. Then, out of that other radiator kit that I had, I got me a 3/8 hose barb. Got that thread in there. Apparently I lost my 11/16 wrench. However, that's what the setup, I got to tighten that, but that's the setup we're going to run. So factory metal line to a 3/8 flare coupler to a 3/8 flare hose barb. That's going to be, hopefully, if I have this plumbed right, that's going to be from this cooler to the other cooler back to the tranny. Most of these I've seen, supply should be this side, return should be this side. So I guess we're going to go up and hit the key and see if that's right or not. Hey, look, I was right. Made a fucking mess proving it, but I was right. Good news, I was able to get this side out of the radiator. And it's male, not female. I was afraid of it being female. I've got one of these over there in my bin from another previous radiator of a smaller size that I think will thread in there. So I'm going to go grab it, thread it in there, and then will be a more proper connection versus this piece of hose. Trash. Alright, so I rolled back on up to Napa. Got me an adapter. And put that other barb in there. And the good thing about this is that when this line goes, I have the fittings to do this side also. I'll just have to go get another coupler and another adapter. Alright, so I'm going to start hooking some hoses up here in a second. Okay, so we have our power steering, or we have our automatic transmission cooler hoses routed now. We're coming out of the cooler on the radiator, going to the cooler that we mounted in the grill yesterday. We're going up across the steering box and around the core support of the radiator, up and behind the cooler, and attaching it. Same way with the return to the transmission. Now, to me, I always like, I guess it really doesn't make a difference how you plumb these up, but I always plumb mine up with the pressure hose coming from the transmission to the factory cooler in the radiator, out of the factory cooler in the radiator, to the aftermarket cooler, and then back to the transmission. That way you're not running it through the more effective cooler into a less effective cooler, thus putting potential heat back into the transmission fluid. So there on the bottom side is how I routed the hoses. And then here's how we look on the top side, right there. And you can see there where we came up around the core support to it. So the next big step is we're going to get in, fire the truck up. It's already warm. And we're going to put it in neutral, and we're going to check our fluid. All right, so there's our trans cooler installed. I know we was only really doing things really to get it running enough around the yard and not really working on this project too heavily right now. But I had that cooler laying around, and I figured while I was down here messing with it, and since we did the filter the other day for the transmission, might as well just go ahead and stick it on there because I don't really, other than the TJ, I don't have any other automatics, and it has a cooler on it already. So, bang, there it is. All right, I'll see you in the next one.